Have you ever noticed that the pacing, tone, and story development of Pokemon changes after Ash is hit by lightning in the early episodes? How Ash and his world are relatively normal until after that incident? Well, I have a theory. The accident with the bike put Ash into a coma. Days later, he was found and hurried to the hospital and treated with heavy medications. This is why Team Rocket became less menacing. The medication took effect and stabilized his coma dreams so that, instead of being terrifying, they became idyllic. They allowed him to live out his Pokemon Master fantasies. After the beginning episodes, the series is a result of Ash's subconscious mind fulfilling his desires as well as attempting to escape reality. Poor kid. Should Ash realize that he's in a coma, he would wake up and suffer brain damage. So he must take down all of his mental barriers one by one. The coma and fantasy explains why he never changes much physically. It explains the worldwide socialism as he thought up a safe system of government that would run smoothly and keep the world going, allowing his adventures to work like they do. It also explains how a child can go off into a world full of dangerous and untamed animals. In addition, it explains why every town has the same police officer and every Pokemon Center has the same nurse. Why is it, friends, that every time he enters a new region that virtually no one has heard of him, despite his conquests? How else could Paul, the rival of the Sinnoh region, not know of someone who placed in at least the top 16 of all 3 leagues and destroyed the Orange League and the Battle Frontier? I ask you. You may recall that early in the show there were animals and references to animals. For example, the fish in the aquarium of the Cerulean City Gym, or that the Pokedex lists Pikachu as rat-like. These animals don't matter to Ash's psyche, and so they don't come into play much. If Ash loved puppies, everything would be about different breeds of dogs and a dog fighting circuit. But as the series goes on, you see fewer realistic animals and more Pokemon. This could be a sign of Ash's mind deteriorating. As he's in the coma, he's losing concepts of some animals and machinery and replacing them with Pokemon. It could explain things like electric Pokemon working as power generators. These are signs that his memory of the old world is slipping more and more as time goes by. The Pokemon realm will be idealized continuously the longer he has no stimulus from the real world. Ash may or may not be mentally deteriorating, but he is becoming more accustomed to his fake world's rules. The wild Pokemon are his rationalizations for the functioning of his created society and fantasy. It's the "a wizard did it" syndrome. If he doesn't know how it works, his mind says it's a Pokemon. Mewtwo, on the other hand, is a new form of treatment introduced from the outside, done with electrical impulses and a machine to stimulate Ash's body directly, a last-ditch effort to rehabilitate him. There were side effects. The electric jolts were beginning to affect Ash's nervous system. If the treatment continued, he would be paralyzed. In order to reduce the danger Ash's consciousness felt from it, his subconscious began downplaying the effects in this world, which is why Pikachu's electric attacks, once noted for their strength by Team Rocket, no longer had any effect on Ash other than comic relief. As we can see, Ash may well have been trapped forever in this world. However, like every dream, like everything, there is a beginning and an end. Now, what would happen if Ash never recovered? In his hospital room, we see Delia, obviously distraught. She's talking to a doctor with a grim look in his face. The man is saying their insurance is up, and the boy has had no change in brain activity for years. The shock of taking him off life support has a very small chance of awakening him. She tearfully agrees. Back in Ash's world, he has finally defeated the Elite Four, and one by one, the people around him disappear. Eventually, everything is black. Pikachu comes dashing towards him, glowing brighter and brighter in the darkness. Eventually, he reaches Ash, and the two embrace one last time. In the hospital room, his life signs fading, Ash mutters his final words. I want to be the very best. He will die, never having known his dream, except as naught but a dream. When he came back to reality, he knew it all for the lie it was, knew it as his imagination, knowing that for all of his efforts, all of his ambitions, and his friends, they were in fact nothing. And so, he lets go. As he utters his final words, he barely opens his eyes and sees the silhouette of his mother, her face hidden by her hands, wiping away her tears. They make eye contact, and one final realization fills him before he loses all of his strength. He sees that his mother was holding out hope that he'd recover all that time. He sees her and finds that her hope had been broken once and for all, as she'd come to the realization that she'd outlived her only child. He dies, knowing that he is loved, but that it means the one person closest and most real to him is utterly crushed.